They are world champions once again.
The Denver Broncos. A model of NFL consistency.
Guys, keep on fighting your ass off.
It's gonna happen.
And good things happen.
Brian Griese has proven his worth. He's quick. Another mile-high championship. The Arizona Cardinals have laid dormant in the desert.
I took this football job because I believe in the players that we have here.
Their hopes lie on Jake Plummer, who must prove he has one lasting comeback.
Welcome back to Tempe, Arizona, and a Sunday night matchup between the Broncos and the Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. It's great to have you with us. The Cardinals have waited a long time to start their season. They began training camp 58 days ago. They have waited even longer to be in first place in their division. The last time, 1988. But if they win tonight, they're in first place in their division. Denver was dominant against the Giants in its opener, and Brian Griese, even coming off reconstructive shoulder surgery, just looked terrific.
He really has, Mike. The problem isn't Brian Griese. It's the people around him keep going down. Terrell Davis is down. Ed McCaffrey was lost in the game against the Giants. They're not concerned so much about the running game. They know what they have. It's the passing game that concerns them a little bit and what's going on in the wide receiving corps. Rod Smith, he's there. He's got his 100 catches. They know what's going to happen. The big thing is what will happen with Eddie Kennison. Can Eddie Kennison fill the shoes of Ed McCaffrey? They realize he can catch the football, but the most he's ever had in a season is 61. Running the football is going to be the biggest concern. The wide receivers are a big part of why the Denver Broncos are able to run the football. Now, Paul, for Jake Plummer, he knows his receivers are there. He knows what he has. Running the football is not a big concern for their receivers. It's the guys up front.
Well, head coach Dave McGinnis said the quickest way for us to be competitive is through our offensive line. So with the second pick in the draft, they took Texas offensive tackle Leonard Davis. 6'6", 370 pounds. But remember one thing, Leonard Davis has only played left tackle. When he signed with Arizona, they said, you are going to be our starting right guard. Well, tonight, he gets his first start against two of the better defensive tackles in the National Football League.
All right, Paul, and both teams feel that running the ball is critical to their chances. Susie Culber has more on that.
Well, Mike, tonight is a night for the backups to shine. Thomas Jones gets the start for the Cardinals, and Michael Pittman serves a one-game suspension. Now, he was their top choice last year in the draft, but he struggled. Dave McGinnis was quite clear in what he expects from him tonight. He said he has to get it done. As for the Broncos, Terrell Davis out at least 4 weeks after having arthroscopic knee surgery. How fitting that the former Marine, Mike Anderson, gets the start. Well, all he did last year was rush for an average of 122 yards a game, and he was named the Rookie of the Year. With his military background, it's taught him he has to be ready at a moment's notice. And Mike, after getting through 13 weeks of boot camp, I don't think the 100-degree heat here on the field is going to bother him at all.
Absolutely, Susie. And Brian Griese will try to build on a great start 2 weeks ago in their opener, while Jake Plummer needs to establish himself as an impact player. We're back in Tempe, Arizona, and we are set to go with the Broncos and the Cardinals. Jason Elam set to kick it off, and Marte Jenkins is deep for the Cardinals. Jenkins, a year ago, third in the NFL, averaged 26.7 yards a return and had 98 yards for a touchdown, and broke the NFL record. Went over 2,000 yards in kick returns last year. It had never been done before. We are underway in Tempe. Jenkins from the 7. Across the 20 to the 21. Take a look at Arizona's offensive line. They are simply massive. The largest in the National Football League. L.J. Shelton at left tackle, 6'6", 335. There's Pete Kendall, the left guard. Mike Rudidoria is a little guy. He's 284. He brings the average way down. Paul already talked about Leonard Davis, 6'6", 370. And another little guy at tackle, Anthony Clement, 6'8", 350. Jake Plummer, play action, first down. Throws complete, and the Cardinals come out firing. David Boston with the catch. He had 71 grabs a year ago for nearly 1,200 yards.
You don't necessarily have to run the football, but if you can get a defense thinking about it, it creates some great voids between the secondary and the linebackers. The linebackers have to respect the run because they don't know that the Cardinals can't yet. As you see Jake set and throw, David Boston does a nice job planting, breaking down, catching it on the move.
It's a nice play call to start the game. You know they want to run. They talked about it all the time. They want to run, and they come out play action, first down. Thomas Jones is the running back behind Plummer, and Jones will get the carry. Not much. Got up near the 49-yard line before he was pushed back. Chester McLaughlin makes the tackle. The Denver defensive line rebuilt after the terrible year that they had a season ago. Keith Washington will start at left tackle. Now notice the weights. The average is 294, and they give up a lot of weight, except for Chester McLaughlin, to that starting offensive line of the Arizona Cardinals. And Kavika Pittman, the smallest guy in there, he's 274. Jones just to midfield. Michael Pittman, who got most of the playing time a year ago after Jones lost his starting job, is suspended for this game on domestic violence charges by the NFL. He will be back next week, and they think he will give Jones another run for that starting job.
Well, one of the things you have to consider here, Joe, when you talk about how big the Arizona offensive line is, yeah, you can block probably the guys on the defensive line because they're a little bit smaller, but the guys you have to really take care of are the linebackers. Mobley just made the play.
3rd and 7, and Plummer will go to the shotgun for the first time. Denver jumped, but appeared to get back. Plummer under pressure. Got a good block downfield, and Plummer dives to the 31-yard line, first down.
I believe that that will be the difference in Jake Plummer if he continues to play that way. We've seen so many games through the course of today where the quarterbacks have kept drives alive. He did a nice job of escaping. He feels the pressure, steps up in the pocket. Now, what I like here is he makes a decision. He's not looking around. The only thing, Jake, put the ball away. You hang it out there. Somebody put it away, Jake. Please.
Makovica in as the blocking back, but Plummer goes back to throw and completes another pass to Boston near the first down sticks at the 21.
Jake Plummer has come in to this season with a lot more confidence than I've seen him before. You see his touchdown to interception ratio 54 to 80. 18-32 as a starter. He's really not had a lot of people around him. Mark Trestman, who was the coordinator last year of the offense, didn't have a lot to work with. I really believe they have the pieces in place now to be able to start a foundation of a good, solid offense. And believe me, this is an offense that has struggled on first drives for a long time.
Well, if they are going to have a strength to this ball club, it is going to have to be the offensive unit. And there was movement up front from the rookie, Leonard Davis. McLaughlin came across. Who did it first?
Leonard Davis, again, here's the guy that's starting for the very first time in a regular season game as a right guard. And remember, the only position he ever played was left offensive tackle for Texas. And here's the big guy, number 75. Watch this. I mean, the thing that upsets you a little bit about the fact that, I mean, he's a rookie. All right, no more excuses. Now he's played 2 plays or 3 plays. That's it. But the thing about it, he's right next to the quarterback. There's no noise here. He's got to know what the count is.
2nd and 6. 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts, draw play to Jones. And last year's #1 draft pick takes it down to the 26th yard line.
Boy, Chester McLaughlin showed you what he is capable of doing. He's an interesting story. Mike Shanahan, everybody said Mike Chester's a lazy guy, hasn't played well, takes plays off. So he looked at some film, and he never saw him take plays off. There's a little bit of a double team. Mike Grudadoria couldn't keep him. I think Chester also realizes that this team's pretty good.
He's pretty big.
In his 10th year, he figures he wants to get a ring.
3rd and 5, Cardinals on their opening drive. Blitz coming. Plummer hangs in there and throws. Sanders to the 18-yard line. That's going to be a first down. Denard Walker made the tackle, but they gave Jake time that time.
Thomas Jones, number 26, the offensive back, really steps up in and makes a tremendous block.
Well, Joe, you said they have struggled on opening drives. Struggled, maybe not strong enough a word. 49 games they haven't scored on the opening drive by a factor of 2, the longest streak in the NFL.
They haven't scored yet, boys.
They're challenging it now.
This is the closest they've been in a long time.
Sanders goes to the slot left. Jones. Nice cutback and dives inside the 15-yard line.
One thing
Kennedy was there.
I'm sorry, Michael, but one thing you got to keep in mind, here is a team has not played a meaningful game, and I mean a meaningful game, a regular season game, for 273 days. Joe, this team knows how to practice.
They know how to practice, and this is Dave McGinnis's opportunity to see what his ball club can do. I think I expected him to come out fired up. As this game goes on, I'm going to wonder about their condition.
2nd and 6 for Plummer and the Cardinals. An impressive drive so far. Blitz coming. Jones runs away from it. Nice cut near the 10. They have to reach the 8 for the first down.
When we had a chance to visit with Thomas Jones, the one thing he said he has learned in the year coming now in the 2nd year is that he only has a chance to make one cut. He gets one look, one cut, and turns it up. On the last 2 times he has carried the football, you don't see him dancing in the hole. It's one move and up the field. Already he's a better runner.
And we saw it last year. He would get an opportunity to run the ball. He would dance around and get trapped, averaged only 3.3 yards a carry.
But he didn't have any blocking either.
3rd down, Jones on the toss, needs to get to the 8. He won't make it, stopped at the 10. And now the crowd is going to chant for Dave McGinnis to go for it, but he wants the points. So on 4th and 2, I don't think you do that.
Well, I'll tell you, if I'm going to run at someone on 3rd down and short, it's not going to be Bill Romanowski.
Well, you know, but that's where your big people are, Anthony.
I understand that.
Anthony Clement and Leonard Davis.
The rookie, Bill Gramatica. Yes, he is the younger brother of Martin Gramatica. Will come on to try from 28 yards like his brother. Just a tremendously strong leg. Scott Player will hold. And the Cardinals take the lead on the opening drive. Very impressive. They make it pay off to the delight of Dave McGinnis. 3-0 Cardinals. Back in a moment. Dave McGinnis pumping up that offensive line and the rest of his offensive unit. They did a good job on that drive. It took 7 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock. The kind of domination the Cardinals have rarely seen since they moved to the desert from St. Louis. Bill Gramatica to kick it away. He put the points on the board. And Kevin Casper, the rookie from Iowa, deep to return. From the 1. Got a lot of speed.
Look out.
Midfield. It's a foot race, and Casper with flags down to the 3. Caught from behind by Adrian Wilson, a 97-yard return, but there's a flag down back at the Denver 30. Oh, what a return. And it's coming back.
Always the biggest question you have coming out of training camp into the regular season, and we saw it a couple of weeks ago in the opening games. So many special teams plays, young guys out of lanes. Look at the running lanes he has. But what a great job by Wilson. He just wouldn't quit. Doesn't matter if you tackle him at the 2. You still got him. You still stopped a touchdown. That's a great amount of effort by a rookie.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Charles Schwab. Expert advice that's objective, uncomplicated, and not driven by commission. By 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two. Beautiful landscape of Arizona with the sun setting on the Red Rock Cliffs. Oh, that's pretty.
That's the only place I know you can sweat in your room with the air conditioner on. Huh? Oh, man.
Sweat in the pool. Yeah.
Boy,
next guy that says it's a dry heat is going to get a beating. Brian Gracie fourth year out of Michigan, leads them out. Empty backfield from the 20. Greasy, flanker screen, Rod Smith. It's a nicely designed play, and they get 11. We took a look at the Arizona offensive line, just huge, the biggest in the league. This is the smallest in the league, and 187 career starts. Veteran group: Teague, Friedman, Nalen, Neal, and Lepsis. This is a zone blocking concept, and these guys are the best in the National Football League. They do a brilliant job up front. We say they're the best even though they refuse to talk to the media, and have for years. They are group, and that's it. Greasy. Nice job to avoid the sack and then throws it away.
Although he played a limited amount of time last year, Brian Greasy went to the Pro Bowl. 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a rating of 102.9. What impresses me is his completion percentage. Obviously the touchdowns, but almost 65% completion percentage. He's smart. He knows the offense so very well now in his 3rd year, and he knows where everybody is.
Patrick Hape is the fullback, number 86. Cardinals may have jumped. And the former Marine Mike Anderson comes across the line of scrimmage. There is a marker down on the play.
They're offside.
Offside. 55 defense. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
That's Ron Blum, the official. All the officials are back. They are. These guys for the Cardinals, totally inexperienced. 17 career starts for all of them, and that's 17 career starts all by Russell Davis. Nobody else has one. And they are going to gamble. They are going to try to take different angles, gaps, twists, turns, everything you can think of to make a difference. They know they can't play straight up and win.
Well, they really do. They know that they can't go up against the best offensive line in the game today. Really, they are the Denver Broncos, and say, okay, we are going to match you man-to-man center line, especially when you have a team that's zone block. You've got to do some dealing.
Also, when you think of the Denver Broncos in this football game, they really haven't had a chance to study the Arizona Cardinals. So I look at this first quarter for Denver as a feeling out process. Ray Rhodes, the coordinator on defense, wants to see what they'll do. So does Gary Kubiak on offense.
3rd and 3. Here comes the blitz. They run. Anderson got away from Tillman and then powers his way for a first down.
You want to know how strong and how tough Mike Anderson is? Pat Tillman has a direct shot at him. And I mean, he hits him shoulder to shoulder. Watch this. You want to see somebody ricochet off a guy. Here it comes. There's Mike Anderson. That's Tillman hitting him man-to-man. And I saw Tillman. He's no small guy. Anderson keeps his feet, his balance, gets square to the line of scrimmage, and gets the first down.
Anderson had 12 starts last year, averaged 121 yards rushing in each one of those starts. That was the best in the National Football League. This kid is tough, playing for the injured Terrell Davis, who's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. This time, he is nailed by Ray Thompson. We asked Mike Anderson how being a Marine for 4 years has helped him in pro football.
As a Marine, you train and you're taught to always be prepared at a moment's notice. And to give you that mental toughness, too, to give you that extra edge over a lot of guys that might not have that. And you learn how to push yourself to a point where you think you can't go no more, and then you realize that you can.
Now Mike's going to get a break, and Olandis Gary is in on 2nd and 10. Cardinals come with another blitz, almost picked by Vanden Bosch, and they had a zone blitz going there. The defensive end drops back as a linebacker. The rookie nearly picked it.
But you wind up seeing what Brian Greasy isn't seeing is he's not seeing people lined up in the same spot. That time we saw Vanden Bosch drop back. Watch the left defensive end. Here come the linebackers up the middle on twists and turns. That defensive end should not be there. Here it is from the ump cam. And if he had better hands, which he'll work on, he could have had an interception.
3rd down and 10. 3 wide receivers. Kevin Casper filling the role of the 3rd guy. 4-man rush. Good protection for Brian Greasy. Now it breaks down, and they got him from behind. Sekou Sanyika, the linebacker from California, got him by the ankles for the sack.
Coverage sack. This is just coverage sack. Greasy had no place to throw the football. Sanyika number 54, you watch him keep coming.
Greasy goes back. Now, it looks like the middle of the field is open, but you see Pat Tillman, Kwame Lassiter, he really has nowhere to go, and he couldn't step up because of the pressure of the front four.
Ruin will kick to the rookie Arnold Jackson out of Louisville. Only 5'8", 163 pounds, but he made this ball club as a kick returner and wide receiver. Back to the 10. Nice kick by Ruin. Jackson makes a couple of cuts near the 20. 10-yard return after a punt of 56 for Tom Ruin. We have a timeout on the field. 3:32 to go first quarter. 3-0 Cardinals. 3:32 to go first quarter, and the Cardinals leading the Broncos 3-0. If you just joined us, that's the correct score. It's 3-0 Cardinals. Very impressive opening drive by Jake Plummer, who was 3 for 3 for 42 yards. The drive resulted in a field goal, and they forced Denver to punt it away to them. Jones, the deep man in the eye. He'll get the carry. Slips a tackle up to the 22. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, it's Brett Favre and the Packers battling the Redskins at 9 Eastern on ABC. And then next Sunday night, we'll be in Philadelphia as Donovan McNabb and the Eagles host Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. And our congratulations to Emmitt Smith, who became the NFL's second all-time leading rusher today, behind only the legendary Walter Payton. Tywan Mitchell is in as the second tight end. He's number 83 for the Cardinals. Plummer to throw under pressure. Mitchell! What a catch! And what guts by Plummer to hang in there, knowing he was going to get whacked.
I talked to Rich Olson yesterday, the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals, and he said, Tywan Mitchell is a guy who can get deep. He gives me a chance to get people down the field. The two tight ends force the linebackers to cover, or one of the strong safeties. There you saw Eric Brown all over him, but look at the catch he makes going up to get it.
Last year, he caught 5 balls all season, a converted wide receiver. Jones, big hole this time to the 50. Let's go to Susie Culber on the sideline. Susie.
Well, Mike, it's quite apparent that Jake Plummer has a different sort of confidence in his receiving core, and that's because the mindset has completely changed. I mean, look at David Boston, who was the 8th overall pick in 1999 at OSU, but he was always trying to prove, especially to himself, that he was a #1 pick. Now it's all about just go out there, show what you can do on the field, and that will speak for itself. He was known as a guy who taunted. You won't see that anymore.
And Susie, he is a monstrous wide receiver, almost 225 pounds. Plummer, play action. Hangs this one up for grabs. It's caught anyway. Boston inside the 5. That was the poorest pass Plummer has thrown all night. That baby looked like a punt.
Sometimes when you throw it real bad, the defensive backs can't judge it. Delta O'Neal, the corner, is in perfect position to make the interception. He just doesn't get it done.
Well, you just take a look at the offensive line, held long enough, and Jake gets the ball up in the air.
Watch number 24, Delta O'Neal. He goes up, he commits to jump, but the ball isn't there yet. It sort of floats down. David Boston does a nice job of staying with it.
Cardinals haven't had many breaks in their years here in Arizona. Maybe they're due for a couple. That one was 47 yards. Now Plummer is going to have to take a timeout with a play clock running down. 50 seconds to go in the corner. Arizona is dominating the Denver Broncos.
Delta O'Neal, number 24, really is in terrific position to make a play on this ball. Watch, he cuts underneath David Boston. He'll go up now to try and make a play on the ball. Coach says go up and get it at its highest point. The problem is this one floated like a duck and just went past him.
It was at its highest point for quite a while.
Delta looked like he got about halfway up in the air and said, there's no way I'm going to get this ball. He pulled himself down.
First and goal, Arizona from the 3. Jones, the single setback. 3 tight ends in the ball game. They try to run wide. That looked ugly. He'll lose 5.
This is not the defense that you should run wide with, especially when you've got the size you have on the right side in Leonard Davis and Anthony Clement.
And there's a marker down.
Anthony Clement. Pardon me.
Correct you are.
I got it right.
Get the call from Ron Blum.
Number 94, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
That is a huge break for the Cardinals. Leon Lett called for the penalty. Instead of second goal from the 8, they're at the 1.5. Look at the ball control so far for the Cardinals. More than 2-to-1 in time of possession. 147 to 9 yards.
I'll tell you what I do now. If I'm Rich Olson, the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals, I line up and I will run this thing over the right side of Clement and Davis.
You might do it 4 times if you have
I would. I'd run it all 3 times and make a decision on whether I want to kick.
Jones, right side.
That's 1
Got about a half a yard.
That's all you need. Now just get right behind Leonard Davis one more time.
Trevor Price stuffed that one.
Well, Leonard Davis, number 75, is the right guard. Look at this. There's a double team on Price, and he actually splits it. Leonard Davis, he did not stay with him long enough. Had he stayed longer, that would have been a touchdown.
That's why Trevor Price has been to consecutive Pro Bowls. Double team still makes the tackle on the goal line. That is the end of the first quarter. The Cardinals leading the Broncos 3-0, and when we come back, they will be bidding for more. We start the second quarter in the desert with the Cardinals. Second and goal from the 1. 3 tight ends, tight formation. Jones, the deep man. Jones dives. Touchdown.
They don't even look like the Arizona Cardinals of old.
No, they don't.
They really don't. They're efficient. They're smart. They haven't made mistakes. They're running hard. And the biggest difference, I think, is Thomas Jones. He's making very quick decisions. Watch this offensive line push. Look at that. He just jumps over Leonard Davis's spot.
Well, you know what happened. Thomas Jones was going to his left. Then he decided, wait a minute. Nah, I don't think so. Let me go back over the middle where the big guys are.
Grammatica for the point after. And the Arizona Cardinals are up 10-0 on the Denver Broncos. Dave McGinnis, in his first full year as head coach, is loving the season opener. Cardinals to kick off. That's Grammatica. Casper awaits in his end zone. Remember, he had a 97-yard return called back in his first opportunity. Grammatica booms another one. Casper 5 yards deep, and he'll keep it there. $14:50 to go first half. When we come back, Denver will have the ball at its own 20. About 50,000 on hand here tonight at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Just about everybody with an American flag. And the Broncos a little shocked by what's going on. They're down 10-0 to the upstart Arizona Cardinals. They'll start from their own 20. First and 10. Empty backfield for Brian Griese. Good protection. A lot of time. Throws underneath for not much. Eddie Kennison with the catch. Let's go to the sideline. Susie Colbert.
Well, Mike, as we know, week 1 was a painful win for the Broncos. Third quarter, Ed McCaffrey hit hard by Sean Williams, broke his leg in 2 places. He is a clutch receiver, inspirational for the pounding he takes, and he wasn't getting up, and now, as we know, he's out for the season. Rod Smith admitted he cried, said a part of him is missing without him. Coach Shanahan, who rarely goes out to the field, went out and held Ed's hand.
And Susie, it really hurt Brian Griese as well because he thought he laid his friend out. But that's just the way McCaffrey plays. He has laid himself out ever since he came into this league. One of the league's premier wide receivers. No matter what they do, they're going to miss him.
Well, Mike Shanahan knows what he's missing without Ed McCaffrey. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to talk to Ed today. He appreciates everybody's well wishes, and he also appreciates the fact that his football team cares so much about him.
Absolutely.
But he's working hard. He said everything feels good. The doctors are very optimistic, and it's been hard for him.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 57, defense. 15 yards. First down.
It's a big mistake by the middle linebacker, Ron McKinnon.
There's Ron McKinnon, number 57. Watch him in the middle. Look at this. The problem is he got pushed first, and then you get caught. Yeah, Carswell pushes him, and then he gets caught for it.
You got to have more control than to push back. Greasy, short set. Rod Smith. Thompson brings him down at the 49.
One of the things about Rod Smith is not just his ability to catch the football, and he had 100 catches last year, but his average of 16.0, 1,600 yards. This is the man that Brian's going to try and get singled up one-on-one. What they'll do is they'll throw the ball short to him, and they'll count on his ability to be able to break tackles and make plays.
Was undrafted out of Missouri Southern. Anderson bursts up the middle across the Cardinal 40 to the 39. Kwame Lassiter and Pat Tillman, the safeties, combined on the stop.
There is a great example of their zone blocking. They don't care who comes in the gap. They just pass them, as Joe told us in the meeting, they just pass them on down the line. If you go across my face, there's going to be someone else to take you. And that hole open, they have one cut and one cut only in Denver. And a lot of the teams, a lot of backs now are looking at it. That's what they do. You got one cut, get to the hole, and get downfield.
Anderson on the draw. Upended that time. Marcus Bell, the rookie out of Memphis, a fourth-round draft choice this year, stood him up. They'll play a lot of guys in there, try to keep them fresh.
Like the rookie. They have 13 rookies on this Arizona team.
It's the youngest team in the National Football League, and that even includes 40-year-old Trey Junkin, who brings the average up a little bit.
He's a rookie. He played so long ago, he played with Joe.
Played so long ago, he played with you. Greasy. Smith, he'll be stopped a couple of yards shy of a first down. Chavis was out there on the coverage. Corey finally healthy, bothered by bad knees the last couple of years.
Watch Rod Smith work against Corey Chavis. This ball is in the air long before he makes the stop. Top of your screen, number 80. Watch this, right there. Bang. See him? There it is. Ball's in the air. Just as he makes the turn, Corey couldn't stop and turn quick enough.
Well, there's nothing you can do about the perfectly thrown ball, and Greasy can do that. He is a terrific young man. Nice play fake. Now under pressure. And hit as he threw incomplete. The blitz by McKinnon.
Boy, I tell you what, it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and you see it week in, week out. When you send more people than you have to block with, you're going to get your quarterback hammered. And this time, Ronald McKinnon, number 57, he just really comes free. Now watch him. He never slows down. He's on the right of your screen. He goes right at Greasy and hits his arm.
What a nice job of being under control as well. He didn't run by him. Now Elam will try from 49. He's got the great leg. And it hit the upright and made it through.
I think it might have hit both of them. That was a double dunk.
Would have been good from 55, a little off on the angle, but caught the post. And finally, Denver gets on the board with 11:24 to go in the half. Broncos get on the board with 11:24 to go in the half. They are down 10-3 here in the Arizona desert to the Cardinals. And Elam got a tip from Steve Lindsay, a guy he was competing against in training camp for the kicker's job, and he has never kicked the ball off any better, although this one is going to come up well short. Marte Jenkins on the run. Jenkins out to the 32-yard line. Start your Monday night with Mike Tirico and Tom Jackson for Monday Night Countdown, presented by UPS at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. That's followed by Monday Night Football, Brett Favre and the Packers against the Washington Redskins on ABC. Coverage starts at 9 Eastern.
Jake Plummer has had success running the football and throwing the football. I would look for Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, to start dropping his safeties down, whether it be 26 Eric Brown or Kenoy Kennedy, number 28. Look for them to play a little bit closer to the line to try and shut down and make Jake continue to throw and try and throw at that rate.
The snake is perfect so far, 5 out of 5. Jones tries to cut it outside. Flag goes down at the end of the play. It's usually a late holding call or a face mask.
Holding.
The runs to the outside have not worked.
I agree with Joe, what Joe said earlier in the first quarter. If you're going to do something against the Denver Broncos, stay inside the tackles, and don't try to get wide on these guys. They're just too fast.
A lot of times you have to give credit to the defense, too. If they do a good job with their tackles, they want to spill it outside to where they have those speed guys who can catch it, especially Romo.
Speed and mean.
Officials having a long discussion.
75, offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's the rookie, Leonard Davis, called for the hold at the end of the play.
Ray Rhodes, the new defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, taking over for Greg Robinson. Greg played a very aggressive style of defense, and they gave up an awful lot of yards last year. A lot of yards passing, a lot of yards rushing, and Mike felt like he had to make a change to try and improve the defense. He went out and got Ray Rhodes, who's done a terrific job no matter where he's been.
They tackled very poorly a year ago. 1st and 20 for Plummer. Good protection. Now he's pressured, and they've got him back at the 14-yard line. Keith Washington and Bertrand Berry, 97 and 92 combined on the sack. A lot of pressure after Jake the Snake couldn't find anybody.
Well, we talk so much about the pit in this team, and that's the 2 guards in the center. Now, you see a double team there, but when you got, now, I'll tell you, Leonard Davis just ran his man out of there, but they, again, sent more people than the Cardinals really had to block. They sent them better.
And now you've got a 2nd and 27. Dennis McKinley, number 39, checks in for Arizona. He's the fullback.
And this is where you just don't want to make a mistake if you're the Cardinals.
Jones, nice cut. Out to the 23.
You know, Joe, I really love that call. You know, you say you don't want to make a mistake. We talked to Jake the other day, and he was saying, boy, a year ago, we were in 2nd and long, and we had to throw the ball. But take a look at this. This is just a direct handoff. This was supposed to go off the right tackle and guard, but what happened is that Thomas Jones, 26, on his own, cut it back to the open field, picked up some yardage.
The all-time rushing leader of Virginia broke Tiki Barber's records there. First-round draft choice a year ago. Now still 3rd and a mile, 19 yards. Plummer screen to Jones, waiting on his blockers. And Jones takes it up near the 45-yard line, so they got a lot of it back, but not enough.
That was just a nice job of calling plays by Rich Olson. You ran the ball to get into a respectable position, then you throw a safe pass, pick up some yards, punt it away, let your defense go out and do their job.
And how many times in the past have we seen the Cardinals make the big mistakes in those circumstances?
You mean Jake?
Well, and as well as the play calls. Delta O'Neal waits at the 15 for the punt of Scott Poyer. Made his first Pro Bowl a year ago. Beautiful kick. O'Neal at the 15. Delta O'Neal runs into his own man. He had nothing but green grass in front of him. A 10-yard return after a 50-yard punt. Sekou Sanyika was down to make the tackle on special teams. All right, Chris, thanks very much. We look forward to that. The Broncos start from their own 24, down 10-3. Anderson was the motion man to get him back in the backfield, and then he is wrapped up as he got to the 27. So far, Denver's gained 43 yards in total offense. Susie's no-name defense is doing pretty well.
Well, Mike, Joe Green promised that they're going to be like that feisty little dog that's always chopping at the ankles, never letting up. And the Broncos had to admit that when they looked at tape, they saw these guys flying around, 7 or 8 guys on the football every play, every chance they get.
They've certainly done it so far. 2nd and 7. Showing blitz. And they'll run against it with Anderson. Lassiter came up from the safety spot. Flag down after the play. And it's going to be a hold against the Denver Broncos. And they're pointing at Lenny Friedman or Tom Nalen, the center.
It's going to be Tom Nalen in the center, number 66.
4-time Pro Bowler.
Holding, 66 offense, 10 yards, enforced from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
And that flag came very late. If you're just joining us, Arizona is dominating this game. They are up 10-3. They took the lead on a field goal, then got a touchdown to go up 10-0. Denver finally got on the board early in the second quarter. Now Olandis Gary will check in as the running back on 2nd and 16 for Denver. And splits out as a wide receiver. Pressure from behind. Vanden Bosch. The rookie from Nebraska came around the corner, and Nebraska defensive ends, if nothing else, have one thing. They can run.
And, man, do they love this guy here in Arizona. Vanden Bosch, when he came here, he goes 150 miles an hour all the time. Look at the speed of him getting around to the outside. T can't even get close to him. But Vanden Bosch in practice, they talk about this guy when they do the gassers, the runs. He's got a whole football, half a football field in front of everybody else. And I mean, this guy's in absolutely perfect condition.
3rd and 16. 3-man rush. Greasy with a lot of time. Throws down the middle. Chavis almost picked it. Oh, Corey Chavis cut in front and couldn't hold the ball.
Is that a grunt? What he does is he lets the ball get to his body. I mean, really, Corey, he had one interception last year. Watch this. Greasy's going to scramble out to the right. Number 25 from the right of your screen is trailing the receiver, and he just lets it bounce into his body. Cut right in front of Rod Smith.
Corey Chavis is a football historian. He has hundreds of broadcast tapes, likes to watch them. He's not going to want to see that one.
Was he got any tapes on catching the ball?
Ruined a punt to Jackson. The rookie from the 32. Ouch. He's only 163 pounds. If you got a hold of him, you can sling him around a little bit. A loss of 2 on the return after a punt of 50.
And give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
Spirits are high in the desert, especially with the Cardinals up 10-3 over the Broncos, 7:13 to go. First half of play, and it's Cardinal ball at their own 30-yard line. They'll come out with 2 tight ends. Thomas Jones is the running back.
I think you come out and run a little play action. It's the way you started the game. You want to get that momentum back.
Plummer throws behind, and it's picked off Denard Walker. Walker lost it. And a mad scramble for it. Sanders indicating the Cardinals have it, but they'll have to unpile. His former teammates at Tennessee said Denard Walker had the worst hands you ever saw. If he could just catch the ball, he would lead the NFL in interceptions every year. He caught that one. And Denver recovers the fumble. That's Mobley. John came up with it, a 20-yard return.
This is just a miscommunication. Watch the left part of your screen. Jake goes back. He sees the defense. He lets it go. And as he lets it go, he just throws it behind the receiver. Really behind Sanders. Walker had a little trouble hanging on to it, but he gets it. This is just thrown late. He finally does make the play. Gets it knocked away on the return, but the Broncos managed to hang on to it.
Boy, I agree with that. Ball was laid out front. Frank Sanders had the ball. He could have been gone.
With that turnover, the Cardinals have now committed one in 28 straight games. That is the team's longest streak since 1961. And now the defense will have to step up. Olandis Gary is in as the running back. Greasy to throw on first down. Rod Smith double-teamed and taken out of bounds after a gain of 9.
You know, Joe, for the last 2 days and 3 days, basically, you've been talking about Eddie Kinnison getting into this offense. And so far, he has not even really been mentioned in this offense.
Well, the thing is, he hasn't been thrown to. That's the difference. He will play. He'll play an important part for this team. The biggest thing that they want to do is finally establish some type of rhythm on offense. Go to the guy that can get it done for you.
Olandis Gary.
That's one of them.
The third of Denver's 3 1,000-yard backs, with Terrell Davis out with a knee injury. Anderson and Gary have stepped up every time they've had the opportunity. Gary, 159 yards, missed 15 games last year with a knee injury. That's when Anderson got his opportunity and played so brilliantly. I can't ever remember a team having 3 backs that could run that way. First down, Denver, driving for the tying score. Gary again hitting the backfield, shakes the tackler, and then stood up by McKinnon, the middle linebacker, and he got help. Let's get down to the sideline and Susie.
Well, Mike Shanahan's looking awfully smart for keeping 3 quality running backs. Before the draft this year, he wasn't willing to part with any of the 3 without getting a first-round pick. You know, everybody wants something for nothing. Then during the preseason, of course, the Ravens wanted to deal. They would never do that with a conference rival. Then Mike said the toughest decision was who to sign to the major contract. And, of course, Mike Anderson got it. And tonight, 2 great backs, even without Terrell Davis.
Susie, that's a very bright man there, Mike Shanahan. The top of the coaching profession. Greasy with the fade for Smith. Bobbled the ball, no touchdown. Nice coverage by Tom Knight.
Boy, Ron Smith, you talk about a receiver timing the ball perfectly, getting up in the air, and if this wasn't great coverage by Tom Knight, this is touchdown. Watch Ron Smith. You talk about taking the ball at the high point. Look at Ron Smith up in the air, and then look at Knight. Knight comes in, hits the ball, knocks it out of his hands. That's outstanding offense and defense.
Big play here, 3rd and 10. Blitz coming. And Greasy threw it behind his tight end Desmond Clark, who had a couple of big catches in the opener 2 weeks ago. And they'll have to go for the field goal.
And the reason he threw it behind him was because of pressure. Pat Tillman that time from the safety position winds up putting pressure on. Number 40 from up top gets in his throwing lane, comes flying in. Just enough to make him speed it up.
Elam, who is already connected from 49, will try from 30. And Elam didn't bother with the post that time. He knocks it through. And let's go back to Bristol and check in with Chris Berman.
All right, Michael, thank you. A little history in Dallas as Emmitt Smith passed Barry Sanders, 2nd all-time on the rushing charts. Congratulations, certainly, to Emmitt. However, the San Diego Chargers, are they Super Bowl bound? Doug Flutie to Curtis Conway. The Chargers, 2-0, win 32-21. They won only 1 game all last year.
Hey, Boomer, how about the Chargers and the Bengals in the championship game in the AFC?
They have Cleveland, Cincinnati, and New England next on their schedule. So, you know, teams that they can match up with. I mean, San Diego Chargers 5-0 through the first 5 games, maybe?
But nobody in their division yet.
That's okay. It's good to get wins away.
Yeah, I just
get them anywhere you can get them.
I'm so happy to see San Diego and Cincinnati doing well because I played for San Diego and I lived in Ohio. I was born and raised, so that's why I like the 2. But it's nice to see that these guys are winning. It really is a big change in the National Football League.
But you live in Buffalo now.
Yeah, sunny Buffalo. Sunny and cool.
Marte Jenkins waits at the goal line. It's a running start at the 4. Big seam up the middle. Then it closes as Jenkins gets to the 29. Ball came loose. No whistle. Broncos saying they have it. The Cardinals saying they have it. Now it's up to Ron Blum.
Do you have any idea how much pulling, yanking, tugging goes on underneath?
Well, I think that what you're seeing is you're seeing a football team that has not handled the football in live contact, as you mentioned, for 273 days. That's one of the concerns you have. He goes into the pile, and he just gets pounded on the ball. He never got hit like that in training camp. The ball's out, it's on the ground, it's bouncing around, and the Broncos.
Ian Gold, backup linebacker, credited with the recovery. 2 big turnovers for this ball club that was up 10-0, and now they're in jeopardy of going down. And Marte Jenkins getting a tongue lashing on the sideline.
But these are the things that happens to you in the first game of the season.
Anderson is back in as the running back, and he'll get the carry. Runs into his own man, bounces it outside, and then stood up. Nice defense by the Cardinals. Next Sunday night, hope you'll join Chris Berman and company for Prime Time. It's presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern, followed by Sunday Night Football at 8:30. Donovan McNabb and the Eagles host Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys next Sunday night on ESPN. You can also see all the Sunday night NFL games on ESPN Deportes.
All right, Paul, look for Eddie Kinnison here.
Anderson inside the 20 near the 17. Pat Tillman made the tackle.
I agree with that. I think what Denver's really trying to do now is find something that works for them, and if they have to grind out on the ground, they're going to do that and throw on third down.
Well, that's what they do. I mean, teams have identities. Offensively, the Denver Broncos, you know, with their 1,000-yard rushers, they like to run the football, and they want to take shots when they get close to the goal line. This would be one of those opportunities where, you would expect an Ed McCaffrey to make a play here. Now it would be Eddie Kinnison's turn.
3rd and 4. Greasy pumps, can't find anyone. Under pressure, throws it away. And you got to take your hat off to the Cardinal defense. They have seen 2 big turnovers in their own territory and forced field goal attempts instead of giving up touchdowns.
Sanyika and Vandenbosch. I'm telling you what, these guys don't quit on defense. They just keep coming and coming and coming. Greasy held on it just a little bit too long, and they nailed him.
That's one thing that Brian said he had to be smarter about. He has been hurt before. He said he wants to get that last yard, that last second to hold the ball. Now he realizes staying healthy and staying on the field is more important. Elam has already hit from 49 and 31. This is 35 yards in length. And perfect. So Elam has all the points for Denver. The Cardinals continue to lead, however. They're up 10-9 with 3:23 to go in the half.
On that last play, the Cardinals defensively did an outstanding job of dropping a lot of people back and putting pressure. As the ball is snapped, you'll see what Brian Greasy has to deal with. He's got to deal with all these safeties, everybody back in coverage. Now, as the ball snapped, he goes back. They jump the receivers right there. You stop it. He's covered. He's covered. He's covered. He's covered. He's got nowhere to go with the football except run and throw it away. Excellent job by Larry Marmee, who's taken over as the defensive coordinator as Dave McGinnis was promoted to head coach.
Well, how about this? Arizona's given up the 2 turnovers. Denver had the ball at the Cardinal 30 and at the Cardinal 23, and they only got field goals out of it.
Well, the one thing that Dave McGinnis told us, the head coach of Arizona, is what I want these guys to come out with is a lot of energy. And so far, through this first half of the game, they have maintained that energy. Now, can they do it for 4 quarters?
Jenkins would love to redeem himself after that fumble. 2 yards deep on this one. The NFL record setter on kickoff returns from a year ago is drilled just shy of the 20. Ian Gold came down and nailed it. They love Ian Gold.
He's the guy that got the fumble. He wasn't the guy that made the tackle before. Keith Burns, number 55, was the guy that caused the fumble. But on that play there, they say this guy will hurt you. I mean, he will flat hurt you. Number 52 is Ian Gold. Look at this.
Oh. He was one of the nation's best running backs in high school. He thought he was going to be another Walter Payton or Emmitt Smith. He went to Michigan. They said, son, you're a linebacker.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you're silver, he can turn you to platinum.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this guy can hit you.
Plummer. Good protection. And that's complete out near the 35. David Boston again. The Cardinals trying to get back to what they did earlier. First 2 possessions, 152 yards, and got all their points out of it. The last 3, only 4 plays, 14 yards, and 2 turnovers. Which Cardinal team are we going to see the rest of the way?
Well, which one will Rich Olson, new offensive coordinator, see? I like the way he has called this game for Jake Plummer. He's taken his shots, but he's really got his offense in a rhythm.
First down from the 35. Thomas Jones, the deep man in the eye. Jones will get the draw. Hasn't been much running room for last year's first-round draft choice lately. John Mobley makes the tackle that time. Jones so far 12 carries, 33 yards.
And I talked about what you're starting to see is you're starting to see Ray Rhodes settle in and see what Rich Olson wants to do. Now it's a battle of coordinators. What do you do against him? If he drops that safety down, can my receivers beat your corners one-on-one? That's what Rich Olson is thinking now.
Second and 9. And they didn't get the play off before the 2-minute warning. So we'll take a break with the Cardinals pleasing their fans here on opening night in Tempe. 2 minutes to go in the half. Patriotism rising in the Arizona desert. Beautiful sunset downtown Phoenix, Arizona.
Did it get under 100 yet?
I think it's 99.5. Plummer back to throw. Too high for Sanders. Delpha O'Neal with good coverage out there.
Now that's the second time he's tried to go to Frank Sanders. He threw a pick, threw behind him one time. This throw was high and wide outside. It seems like he's struggling a little bit with Frank. David Boston, he's having no problem with whatsoever.
You know, even talking to these guys on Friday, one of the things that they said to us with this big new offensive line that they have, the one thing that, to make this team successful that they really have to do is run the football. And every coach says that, but it's really important for this football team to be able to run.
It's really important for them right now to get 9 yards on third down. Plummer to Sanders, cuts back in. Romanowski is right there.
And the Denver Broncos want a timeout because they want to get the ball back and with some time. They got 1 minute and 46 seconds on the clock.
Denver will have 2 left. Excuse me.
People ask the question quite often, why does a quarterback throw a 2-yard pass when it's 3rd down and 9? And you have to give credit to the defense. They realized that you want to throw the ball downfield. So what they did is they brought the cover guy off the slot. Jake read it as a blitz, and he read the hot. It's a good job by Jake Plummer taking what the defense gives you. And it's an excellent job by Ray Rhodes forcing him to throw it there.
I love that. I don't understand a word you just said.
I know.
He read the thing out the thing around the hot room.
Yeah. But the people it's important that the people listening.
What's scary is I understood it. Scott Player to kick to Delpha O'Neal. And your heart has to go out to that young man. He had 2 relatives killed in an automobile accident on the way to see him 2 Monday nights ago. And in the midst of all the other tragedy, what he has had to deal with. Very bright young man. O'Neal back across the 30 to the 31. A return of 9. A kick of 40. Coming up on the Kia halftime show at the conclusion of our first half, Chris Berman will be along with the fastest 3 minutes in television, National League playoff update, and Barry Bonds gets ever closer to that 70 home run mark.
He played today, didn't he?
If he played San Diego 162 games, he'd hit 300 home runs.
They do pitch to him, don't they?
Well, I think their idea of pitching to him is let's throw it down the middle and see what he can do with it.
It's like what he's hit 67 home runs.
You think
come on, that's a fluke. Let's throw it down the middle again. See what he does with this one. How about the one where he had 3 home runs not too long ago?
Olandis Gary is in with 1 minute 36 to go in the half, and Greasy at least wants to get him into field goal position. Throws over the middle. That one's complete out to the 42-yard line. Smith with another catch.
Well, you know Rod Smith is going to be a guy they're going to look for. He caught 100 balls a year ago. And now with the defense spread out, he's got to find holes.
He's grabbed 5 already. Make it 6. Breaks a tackle. Smith down to the 44-yard line. Caught 9 in the opening game. So that's 15 receptions and only 6 quarters of play for the Pro Bowler. And they'll use their second timeout with 1 minute 5 left.
Isn't that efficient offense? They run 2 plays. They move the ball, what, 30 yards just about? Yep. And they run off about 30 seconds.
Let's go to the sideline. Susie?
Well, Mike, as most NFL teams did this week, selected players from the Cardinals took time to help out the country in a time of need. Defensive tackles Russell Davis and defensive end Kyle Vanden Bosch represented the Cardinals at their blood drive 10 days ago. Held at a local shopping center, just trying to show the country that they care. And this Cardinal organization truly trying to be a part of the community. This place doesn't sell out very often, but maybe if they get something going this season, can't hurt.
Well, Susie, you're right about that. They have a little better than 50,000, we're told here tonight. And everybody from all the National Football League teams and from the league offices, an outpouring of help and sympathy. We're so very proud to be part of it. Casper is in there as the third wide receiver. Greasy underneath. Loose ball. And out of bounds. Big break for Denver. As they cough it up, and it got to the sideline. Good play by Tillman.
What? Dave McGinnis is trying to say this was not a catch. But inside 2 minutes, he can't make the decision. No, he can't. It's got to be done upstairs. The challenge has got to come upstairs.
Well, let's see if it's a catch. Comes across 1 foot, 2 foot.
That's a catch.
I don't know. It looked like he was trying to shift it and move it around. If he was taking a look at it.
Clark, the big tight end.
But the thing about it is now, even though if it becomes a catch here with Rod Smith,
I don't think he has that ball.
All right, if they call it a catch, so Pat Tillman hits him, that ball cannot be fumbled forward, which it did about 5 yards. So they brought the ball back to the 39-yard line instead of the 34.
I still don't think it was a catch.
Well, they do. Well, maybe they don't.
Thank you.
Well, at least they're going to question.
Now, I want people to understand something.
Last play is going to be reviewed.
They can't hear us.
Well, that's good for them.
Yeah, I know. The instant replay officials.
I gotta go home now.
If you want to cast,
Joe, yell over to him.
If you want to cast your vote on this, you can log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com. Click ETV, and you can vote on whether this is a catch.
1 foot, 2 foot, balls moving. No, I would say that it is not a catch. I don't believe he ever had full possession of the ball.
He was putting it away. I agree with you. I don't think it is a catch.
You remember the first time they explained it to us? This was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when they were going to start calling it this way. They said you got to get both feet down and make a football move.
That's right.
We never knew what a football move was.
1 foot, 2 foot balls. He doesn't have control of the ball, in my opinion, on that particular.
The other angle really shows it from behind, because what he is doing, the ball is moved right here. Now the ball is moving in his hands. Watch this. The ball is in his left. You see it? It's in his left, and he's trying to bring it back to his right, and the ball comes out.
And I don't want one thing to get overlooked on this particular play. The job that Pat Tillman does, he just doesn't make the tackle, but you see his right arm and fist come through and actually punch the ball out while he's making the tackle. That's a football player that knows what's going on all the time.
Pat Tillman, is he something? We're talking to him about Greasy. So what do you think of Greasy? He said, that's money, dude.
Well, you know, Tillman could have left and gone somewhere else this year, as a couple of other Cardinals have done in the past. He said, we have been garbage for so long, I wanted to see it turned around. And if it is turned around, he's going to be a big part of the reason. He's a tough kid.
Oh, is he ever.
He also said he hadn't tackled anybody in 3 weeks. He was sort of looking forward to tonight.
Well, he had 224 tackles a year ago, which was a modern team record, so he's probably still healing from last season. Ron Blum is looking at the replays.
All right, we look at this thing just one more time, and really, this is not a catch, and I agree totally with Joe. Watch his arm. Now, he's moving the ball. It's in his left arm. Now he's trying to move it back to his right, and that's where Tillman comes in and knocks the ball out. He never had control of the football.
Well, I got to tell you, this is sort of a scary moment for me, because I'm starting to agree with both of them.
Oh, boy. No, this time we go home.
So that means it will be a catch.
I also think it's a break for the Arizona Cardinals, because they've come out hyped up from an energy standpoint. Now they get a chance to catch their breath a little bit with a little bit of a break in the game. I think it's good for them defensively, because they've been on the field a lot this quarter.
The replay review was to see whether it was actually a completed pass or not. There's not enough evidence to overchange the call.
And they have to have conclusive evidence to reverse the call made on the field.
How conclusive is that? Is that scary?
Well, I don't
agree with us.
No, I think they're right. There was not enough conclusive evidence, but it's a good job by the replay official upstairs to make the call. So here's what we have. 1:02 to go in the half. 2nd and 5 for Denver at the 39-yard line of Arizona.
And Eddie Kinnison does not have a catch yet in this game. Of course, he's filling in for Ed McCaffrey.
Greasy the throw. Clark, the tight end again. The huge tight end within field goal range now, down at the 26. Anything inside 55 is within Elam's range. Clock ticking away. Greasy will run a play. Same exact play. Clark, same result, down to the 10. And now he's going to use the timeout. As long as they don't cover it, he'll just keep coming back to it.
Boy, you know, I know the plays are called in from the bench, Joe, but it just shows you smart play calling. They run, they throw the ball, excuse me, to Desmond Clark on one side. Then they come right back and throw it to him again. Why not? He's open. There's nobody covering him. I mean, that's just smart play calling.
Well, what they want you to do if you're in a zone like most teams are at the end of a half, you drop your safeties back. Tight ends become a very big part of it. They have tight ends who can get down the field.
And did you see the look on Dave McGinnis's face? He wants so desperately to go into the locker room at halftime with the lead so he can go in there and pump up his guys and tell them what they can do.
Or even if you can hold them to a field goal. Even, you concede the fact that they're close, so maybe they get a shot at the field goal and you try and do it.
Brian Greasy, who started very slowly, only 5 out of 13, has hit all 5 passes on this drive. That is Elam waiting for an opportunity perhaps to kick his 4th field goal of the night. First and goal, the nose of the ball is just inside the 10. 38 seconds to go in the half. No timeouts left for the Broncos. Greasy under pressure. Smith! Touchdown! Yeah, baby! What a throw, what a catch.
Oh. You can't defend this. You just cannot defend this. He pumps it and then lets it go and puts it the only place that Rod Smith can make the play. There's nothing Corey Chavis could do.
And it looks like they are out to go for 2, leading by 5. All the coaches have those cards that tell them you're up by this much, then do this. And pretty much they stick to it. It has gotten much quieter here in Tempe as Denver has come from behind. Greasy with an empty backfield. Gary in motion. Greasy, nice play fake, and easily for the 2 to Dwayne Carswell. There wasn't a soul within 15 yards.
Greasy had 2 choices, Carswell or himself.
Well, he could have crawled in.
Gary Kubiak is the offensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos. And he just did a masterful job of calling plays. Watch this little pump fake. Watch this catch by Rod Smith. This is why he's all-pro. He's moving to all-world status. Look at that. He caught the back end of the ball, then gained control, and shows the official that he has it. Corey Chavis taking an outside position. Now he tries to close. Thinks the ball is thrown up front. Not a chance.
That's a magnificent catch.
Look at that. Look at how he caught the end of the ball. Oh, my.
Thank God for gloves.
So Denver, a team that was dominated here by the emotion of the Arizona Cardinals, has come back from a 10-0 deficit to score 17 unanswered points. Marte Jenkins is deep to receive. Jenkins running start at the 6. Whacked down as he got to the 27. They have a couple of timeouts left. Wednesday night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Marlins host the Braves. That's followed by the Dodgers hosting Barry Bonds and the Giants at 10 Eastern. And at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, Houston and St. Louis will meet at Enron Field as the season winds down in the National League Central Division race tightens. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. The Cardinals at the Astros. That is going to be quite a series.
Yeah, I know you only have 27 seconds left to go. You do have 2 timeouts. But wait a minute. No, let me just say something. I don't think that you should take any chances here. Don't give them the ball back again. I agree with you. Get out of here and just regroup.
And And that's what they're going to do. Jones on a draw up to the 32. John Mobley with the tackle. Well, you know, we said you got to hand it to Arizona the way they came out and played. You got to hand it to Denver, too, keeping their composure.
You know what? See, the thing is, in this game, you know what Denver's going to give you. What I'm curious about now is what I'm going to see out of the Arizona Cardinals in the second half. Will they be gassed? Because they've only played halves of preseason games. They're going into uncharted territory right now for this team.
Let's go down to the sideline. Susie Colbert.
Well, David, sort of what we expected. So much energy and adrenaline from your guys out of the gate, but then momentum seemed to turn the Broncos' way. So what adjustments can you make to swing it back your way?
Well, we can't turn the ball over, Susie. That's the biggest thing. And we're turning the ball over and giving them field position. And when we've got a chance to get turnovers, we have to get them. We'll keep the emotion up and we'll keep playing, but we've got to make plays, and we cannot turn the ball over to this offense.
What's the biggest thing you have to do in the second half?
Well, and, you hear coaches say, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, and that's what they did. They turned it over.
Well, just think about it now. Denver, a week ago or 2 weeks ago when they played, they did not turn the ball over one time, nor did they get a turnover one time. But you turn the ball over to an experienced football team like this, and as good an offense as this team has, you got problems.
I can recall what Dave McGinnis told us a couple of days ago when we sat and visited with them. We have to create some negative plays for them on offense. They did it early. They haven't been able to do it lately. And we can't give them a short field because this offense is just too efficient. They've given them the opportunities to do that. Consequently, you wind up with a score and being down 7 points. I think for Arizona, it's key to see how they start the second half. Will they come out tired? And I can't emphasize enough, they haven't played 65 plays. They don't know if they're going to be able to hold up. They're not sure what their conditioning is.
I know you guys would both agree with this. If Dave McGinnis, who is in his first full season as head coach, is given time here, he will turn this team around.
I just think the way he approaches it, the way the players feel about him, the things that he wants to do. You got to understand something. There are 13 rookies on this football team. All the draft choices. But again, Joe, I understand that they haven't played. They haven't really played a meaningful game in 273 days.
But I agree with you. I agree with you in that regard. But it's still, if you look around the league, what success on offense revolves around is the play of the quarterback position. Jake Plummer is the one that's going to make a difference in this offense, and I think he can. I think he feels comfortable with Rich Olson as his offensive coordinator. A comfort zone I'm not certain he ever got into with Mark Trestman before.
Well, he was as sharp in the first half as I've seen him in a long, long time.
Well, I'll tell you another thing, too. Bob Ferguson, the general manager, and I'd had a long talk with him. We walked with him the other day, and I said to him, here's Shakey's going into his 5th year. If you had the opportunity again, would you take him as the #1 pick for this team? And he said, without any hesitation, good, I would take this guy.
Kevin Casper, the deep man, as Denver will get the football from Bill Gramatica. Casper, a line drive at the 4, has some room. Swallowed up the 26. First half numbers for a long time dominated by the Cardinals. They're still up in total yards, 188 to 139. But the one big stat, the 2 turnovers there near the bottom of the page, they still have time of possession in their favor by 3 minutes.
Well, the only reason they have 139 yards is because they haven't had to go very far. The Cardinals have given them short fields to work on.
So Denver will start at its own 27. Anderson gets the call as the running back to start the half. Patrick Haight is the fullback. Really a tight end who they have moved to an H-back position. And they go right back to the way they played in the first half, and they go out. McKinnon gets his first catch, or Eddie Kennison gets his first catch. I'll get it right in a second. It was his second catch of the day. Great hands out of LSU, a guy who everywhere he goes turns out to be a productive player.
And he's a guy that they're going to rely on. They know he can catch the football. What they want to see in an area that he's worked on is how does he block in the running game.
Anderson. Nothing there as Vanden Bosch cracked down from his defensive end spot, then got some help. Greasy, 12 out of 20. Sitting 60%, has the 1 touchdown. Anderson has been limited to 30 yards, and Smith with a big first half. 7 catches for 70 yards. The big 3 right now for the Denver Broncos.
And a touchdown catch is going to make their highlight package.
Absolutely. 3rd and 2. Only one wide receiver. And they'll give it to Anderson. And he doesn't get within 2 yards of it.
Boy, this is a classic example of what the Arizona Cardinals really wanted to do on defense. And that's take guys and deal inside and keep moving down the holes. And you cannot pass off too many guys. If you have more guys coming, take a look at these guys on the defense, the white shirts sliding down the line of scrimmage and making a stop. On the last 2 plays, Denver gained no yardage.
They have played hard defensively. Ruin, who is averaging 53 yards a kick in this game, averaged 50 against the Giants, will kick to Arnold Jackson. Wow. Oh, another beauty. Jackson from the 12. Has the seam for a second. Another great move, hit from behind up to the 40. What a beautiful return. 28 yards, dancing back and forth after a 53-yard kick. John Mobley got him from behind. That was as spectacular a 28-yard return as you will ever see.
We are a company of Americans. 32,000 men and women who have never felt more pride or love for our fellow man and country. Today, we are pledging our allegiance to America. We stand together. Nothing will keep our country or our company from moving ahead.
To 10. Cardinals trail. Plummer 8 out of 10 throwing tonight. Jones has been held to 37 yards. Boston 4 catches, only 4, but 97 yards on those grabs. Cardinals defense held. Let's see how the offense does, starting from its own 40. Blitz coming, and Plummer is swallowed up. Al Wilson, that super quick middle linebacker out of Tennessee, just flies through.
This is classic Ray Rhodes. He likes to bring pressure, but he likes to bring it in certain situations. When you start to do something, he'll come after you. If you're backed up, he'll come after you. Actually, it should have been blocked by Thomas Jones. Number 26 has a shot at Wilson. He goes low on him. This is something that a young back's going to learn. You can't go low on linebackers at this level. You got to meet him in the mouth.
2nd and 18. Plummer met him in the mouth. Draw play. Jones.
Fumble. Ball's on the ground.
Denver saying they have it again, and they do. Holy cow. The recovery by Bertrand Berry. And Jones pleading his case. He says he was down. Let's see if the Cardinals challenge.
Well, if he's down, somebody's going to be able to see this upstairs and take a look at it. They can throw a flag and call for a replay.
Another huge mistake from the Cardinals.
You got to be convincing to the head coach. Were you down? Were you down? Tell me, were you down? Thomas Jones.
I believe he's down.
And now the Cardinals are going to change. It was tough to see from that angle.
But Thomas Jones sold it to the coach, to Dave McGinnis. He sold it to Dave and said, "Hey, I was down."
Now, you better be right too.
I would be.
You lose a timeout if you're not. They cannot continue to give them a short field.
Say he's not down.
No, he's not.
This is a fumble, and even from that angle, which is really not a great angle for them to look at a replay, but that angle there even shows that ball's coming out and his knees are not on the ground.
Well, Thomas Jones is going to get ripped twice now. One for the fumble and one for saying, "I'm convinced I was down."
Actually, I thought that was a great angle because you could see he was still airborne. And this one here, there's a lot of people around and you just can't quite tell. The one that we saw first shows him still in the air with the ball squirting out to the right.
There are tough looks everywhere when you look at this thing, but I'll tell you what, his knees have got to be down. One knee has to be down, and they weren't down. That ball is out. Now, again,
I was just going to say, if you want to vote, but people already are. They're way ahead of us. Log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com. Click ETV if you want to join the fun.
See the right side of the frame? I'll put a little circle on it. There it is. That's the ball right there.
Now look at the ball and look at his knees. He's not. That ball is. The ball is already out. So I said the first one wasn't really that good. It really was. It was a good one. From behind, it just shows that his knees are not on the ground.
And we've got the best camera guys in the business. We've got the best crew in the business. Sometimes you're just not going to get a perfect shot.
Well, we're hearing from Denver. Look at it. Here it comes now. Look at this. Just watch to his right. You see the ball comes out now. The ball is out. His knees are not on the ground. But again, is that good enough for the guy upstairs?
Well, it's certainly good enough because they have to have conclusive evidence to overturn it. And they ruled on the field that it was a fumble.
It looked like Kavika Pittman, number 95, was the one who came in from the side and knocked it loose.
Reviewing the play, number 26, both knees were off the ground when the ball was fumbled. It is a fumble. First down, Denver.
Looked like a good call by Ron Blum on the review. And the Cardinals, again, have done it to themselves. An interception and 2 fumbles. Everything happening in their own territory. And this looks more, unfortunately for Cardinal fans, like the old Arizona Cardinals.
What was the first thing he said to Susie at halftime?
We can't turn the ball over to
Susie. Can't turn the ball over to Susie.
Well, this offense is superb, and you just can't give them a short field all the time. Olandis Gary is in at running back. Play action, Greasy, beautiful fake. All the time in the world. Smith, touchdown. Made that look easy, didn't it?
Oh, boy. I'll tell you, that fake to Olandis Gary just throws everybody. I'm not talking about one side or the other of the defensive line, linebackers, and safeties and corners. This throws everybody.
I talked about Ray Rhodes liking to go after people. Gary Kubiak does the same thing on turnovers. What happens is they bring Rod Smith from the right side of the field, and Brian just hangs it out down the middle.
Greasy leads the NFL in quarterback rating coming into this game with a remarkable 144.3.
He's not going down.
No, he's probably going to raise it again tonight. Denver showing you why they are a Super Bowl contender. Now they're up by 14 and across the 35 to the 36. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by the new Broncos.
That's just, wanting to win the ball game too much, I guess. And if we can get some leads, play in a game where we were not constantly coming from behind, I think you'll see, what I can do.
Through his foundation, Jake Plummer is going to donate $1,000 for every touchdown pass, $2,000 for every Cardinals win to the families of the survivors of the attack. You got to take your hat off to Jake Plummer for that. Pumping here, under pressure, got rid of it, it's incomplete. Now the reason, even though Ian Gold had him, he was not in jeopardy from anybody else. That's why they did not blow the whistle, and a good job by Plummer to stay on his feet to throw it away.
And Twan Mitchell just didn't do a good job of holding up. They tried to run a pump fake, and the tight end stays in the block. The only problem was he didn't give him enough time.
Ian Gold tries to kill you, and you said only because it's...
Well, we're waiting on the second guy.
I agree with you, Mike. I'm just saying, this guy is mean.
Well, he was in jeopardy, but only from one guy. Delta O'Neal waits for the punt of Scott Player. And the Cardinals will down it inside the 15-yard line. A kick of 37 yards. Denver has scored 24 straight points. ESPN will continue its reporting on the September 11th tragedies from a sports viewpoint while keeping sports in its proper perspective by presenting a 1 hour Outside the Lines Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Bob Lee, who anchored much of the ESPN Sports Center coverage last week, will be on site from Lower Manhattan. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Olandis Gary can't get outside, and Vanden Bosch will lead the gang that makes the tackle. Nice hard run by Gary. Let's go to the sideline. Susie Colbert.
Well, Mike Shanahan said coming out from the half that he just told his team to settle down. They're in position to make plays. And I asked him about trying to get the ball to Eddie Kennison. And he said, well, it's not in our game plan to try to force that. As long as they're giving us Rod Smith, why not? And Smith so far, 8 catches, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty good numbers, huh?
That goes with his 9 from 115 in the first game against the Giants.
Gary on the toss. Beautifully designed play with a lot of room. And Olandis Gary up to the 26. Matt Lepsis, the right tackle, got out through him a big block. Gain of 11.
Olandis Gary, just all he does is create the crease. Patrick Hape does a nice job of blocking Ray Thompson. They seal the corner. We talk about this offensive line zone blocking, but because they're not so large, they run very well.
Greasy throws underneath. Smith with another catch up to the 38. Let's check in with Chris Berman.
Michael, I think the Indianapolis Colts this year are going to be the Rams. Not that they couldn't put up points and numbers before, but Peyton Manning threw for 4 touchdowns, ran for 1 against Buffalo, throwing for 421 yards. This one, a 60-yarder to Jerome Payton. 2 games, Colts 2 division wins, 87 points.
Well, Peyton Manning is something else. I think Chris, 14 out of 22 for Greasy. He's hit his last 9 throws. Gary this time can't get away from Jabari Issa, number 72. You know, one thing that impresses you about Greasy, and there are a lot of things that impress you about that young man, is that football is not the only thing in his life. There's so many other things he likes to do. He wants to work with people eventually when his football career is over. And he almost didn't get into the pros. I mean, he played 1 year at Michigan and had to be talked into coming back to play that one before he got drafted. We'll fill you a little more on Brian Greasy in just a moment. 6:50 to go, third quarter. Broncos now lead by 14. They have scored 24 in a row after the Cardinals jumped on top. 2nd and 8 for Denver. Greasy to throw. A strike to Carswell. McKinnon chases him out of bounds, but in Cardinal territory.
You wonder, how do you make up for an Ed McCafferty? How do you find so many catches? He had 101 last year. Who gets the ball? The tight end, Dwayne Carswell. He had three TDs last year, had 1 catch just the first week for 25 yards, but he's the guy who can get down the field. Desmond Clark, the other tight end. Both of them have the ability to pick up lots of yards against linebackers.
Brian Greasy, of course, the son of Bob Greasy, the Hall of Famer, who played for 14 years. And with 1 stroke of the pen, Brian Greasy made more money in his signing bonus for his new contract than his Hall of Fame father made in his entire career. Way to go, Brian. Goes on top, 24-10. Brian Greasy got off to a sluggish start, but he's been spectacular lately, hitting his last 10, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another nice play fake. And plenty of time. Short on that one. Flags are down. That will be interference intended for Eddie Kennison, and he was run into.
I'll tell you, there was absolutely no reason for pass interference on this play.
Tillman and Lassiter were back there.
Well, Kwame Lassiter had this thing eyeballed all the way. Just take a look. There is really no reason for pass interference. Tillman hits him there. But look at Lassiter. Lassiter was in a position, you'll see him on the left-hand side, to make the interception.
Yeah,
He sure was.
See, the thing about Pat Tillman, he's the strong safety. Tom Knight, number 24, the corner gets beat so bad. Tillman's trying to make up for it. He has no idea where the ball is, and all he's trying to do is play the receiver.
Well, you know what he said about Greasy? Money, dude. He's money, dude.
This will make it a 1st and goal from the 2. But you don't see Patrick Haight carry the ball. He carried it twice last week as they tried to get a touchdown, but he may catch it, and he does. Touchdown. Haight caught 2 passes a week, 1 pass a week ago for a touchdown, catches another one here. We had some fun with Mike Shanahan. He said he was really trying to outsmart somebody, and he's done that for a long time. But he said, you know, you're not going to see Patrick Haight lug it too often.
No, he said in the preseason, we ran play action 6 times, and the guy was wide open. So for some reason, he wanted to run it early. He's run 2 of them down. He's run 1 for a 2-point play, and now this one for a touchdown.
One of the great things about Shanahan, there's so many of them. He is such a brilliant coach, but you can have fun with him. You can yank his chain a little bit. Another sterling series for Brian Greasy. Mike Shanahan said we knew something the first week as a rookie, that we had something special. But how did Brian Greasy feel about being a rookie? Would he succeed?
That first training camp when I was in Denver and I watched John Elway play, and I was amazed at you know, the physical ability that he had. And I told myself, you know, I don't have that ability, but I can do it mentally. And I can do it different ways, leading people. And I began to understand that I could play in this league.
You know, Michael, the one thing that Mike Shanahan said about him is when he first came to camp, very first week, he looked at Gary Kubiak after he went up under center and he said, this guy is going to play for us for a long time.
I'll tell you what's even more scary is he looks like Bill Romanowski a little bit. Look at the 2 of them. I mean, they look a little bit alike. Of course, Bill's always got a scowl on his face and Brian's smiling, but little similarities there.
Roll smile when the gun goes off.
Last year, Brian Greasy threw 19 touchdown passes, had only 4 interceptions. So far in this young season, 6 touchdowns, no picks. Marte Jenkins will let this one go out of the end zone. The Cardinals, who are now down by 3 big scores, will have to start from the 20. Susie, what do you have?
You know what Greasy has done is extraordinary, because how many times are you going to follow in your dad's footsteps and be successful? But he says it's not mostly football that he learned from his dad, but how to be a man. Of course, the family lost mom and wife, Judy, when Brian was very young, and Bob had to learn how to be a father, and they all learned together that the most important thing was family, friends, and giving back, which, as you said earlier, is what Brian wants to do.
Very special young man who has a brilliant career ahead of him. Plummer now, he says this is the tough part. When you're down like this, intended for Makovicka, incomplete.
Give you a chance to take a look at Brian Greasy's efficiency, just how well he has done. This is the first touchdown pass, little quick pump, great catch by Rod Smith. Now he rolls out to the right, Rod Smith wide open one more time. And this latest little play fake, Patrick Haight, we're not going to let you run it, we'll just let you catch it and go in the end zone. Steve Berline sitting with him there, looking at the pictures.
Plummer back to the air and should have a first down out of this one to Sanders. Delta O'Neal made the stop. He was all over him. Good grab by Sanders.
I saw Jake Plummer's stats, 61 interceptions when he's behind. I don't necessarily feel like that has to be an excuse for throwing interceptions. You can get behind in games, but you still have to be smart with the football. The other thing he said I think is important, he tried to do too much. I'm curious to see how Jake manages this part of the game now. Just do what Coach Olson wants you to do.
Plummer short set and throws a strike to Boston. The big guy loose in the secondary to the 45.
Now there was the one thing about Jake Plummer I love. He comes out and he'll make a great throw like this, or a good throw. This is perfect timing for Boston so he can get the ball on the run. So he's laughing. But then he makes just mistakes where he throws the ball in the wrong place. Look at this where he hits Boston right in the stomach. Boston's on a dead run. Have you guys looked at the arms on David Boston?
Enormous.
What?
Their thighs.
He's got the biggest arms I've ever seen. He's 227-pound wide receiver. Look at it.
Got some guns, definitely.
Oh, boy, does he.
Rob Moore with a bad hamstring, not playing tonight. This is quite a receiving corps when everybody's healthy. Plummer again, Boston. Delta O'Neal, nice tackle. Back to Susie for more on David Boston.
Well, earlier in the game, I had mentioned that last year he was mostly known for taunting. Well, talk about embarrassing. His father, Byron, is a line judge in the NFL, and his son's antics wound up on an NFL training tape used to show players what behavior is unacceptable. But as I also mentioned, David Boston doesn't do that anymore. He's really matured.
I think they maybe had a father-son chat over that one. Cardinals at midfield. Jones went in motion. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Plummer throwing for Boston. Some contact down there with Denard Walker. No flag. Walker, the free agent from Tennessee, who was really upset that the Titans did not make him any kind of a contract offer to stay. And Denver very happy to get him in a corner after they lost Buckley, Crockett, and Carter.
Of course, Denard Walker, the most picks he's had in his 5-year career have been 2 in 1 year. He's already got a leg up in the second game of the season. He has 1 already.
You know, I make a guy feel good.
Wow, and these corners will have a chance to make plays. He's going to get his opportunities because the Broncos are going to make people throw to try and put points on the board against them.
4 wide receivers, including the rookie Arnold Jackson, number 84, the NCAA's all-time career pass leader. Behind Sanders as they came with the blitz, and Plummer couldn't get it in the right spot.
Boy, did he get nailed. And
that was 4th down. That is 4th down.
Ian Gold, Michael, came off the corner, and nobody. Ian Gold is number 52. Great special team player. But watch this. Nobody even touches him, and bam.
Gets there in a hurry, doesn't he?
Oh, does he ever.
Player to kick to O'Neal. Player was second in net last year in punting, 37-3 in the NFL. Excellent placement kicker, and he's got a pretty strong leg as well. O'Neal will let this one go, and they try to down it at the goal line and can't. Punt of 50 yards. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, it's Brett Favre and the Packers battling the Washington Redskins at 9 Eastern on ABC. And then at next Sunday, we'll be in Philadelphia as Donovan McNabb and the Eagles host Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Hope you'll join us for that. Get a look at the NFL's second all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith.
Well, being out here today, we got a chance to see that Dallas game, but I'm really kind of interested to see that Philadelphia football team, and everybody raves about it. I didn't get a chance to see that game that they played against the Rams, but they played a pretty good game in the loss.
And, you know, will Quincy Carter be back for the Cowboys? That's something else.
Numbers on Greasy. Hit 11 in a row. Olandis Gary on the toss. Lepsis, great block out in front of him. Boy, Matt Lepsis just went out there and threw a beauty. There's a flag down on the play. Maybe a face mask, and Lepsis is down. He may have gotten in the ribs on that block.
What you get with a blitzing, stunning type of a defense is you will create 2- and 3-yard losses, but you're also going to give up 10- and 15-yard runs like we've seen coming over the right side.
86 offense, 10 yards, and forced to respond to the foul, repeat first down.
Dan Neal, I believe, called for holding, or is it Hape? Patrick Hape, 86. So back him up 10. And it's 1st and 11. Gary cut down this time by Ray Thompson, the strong side linebacker out of Tennessee. He's a little guy, 217 pounds. There aren't many linebackers in the NFL anymore. There weren't many 5 years ago who were only 217. He plays a strong side.
The thing about it, though, is it seems like they're very specific in their choices. This is a strong side linebacker who can come around the corner. Defensive ends are smaller now.
2nd and 9. Denver just taking its time. They're up by 21. Greasy underneath. Rod Smith has had a huge night near the 29-yard line. Looks like he's just sitting back in a rocking chair right now, just firing them out there. And Smith has caught 10 for 123. Give him 19 catches in 2 games.
Whenever, I'm just going to say, Joe, whenever Greasy runs play action, I mean, there's 2 or 3 guys that are open.
Well, you can only do that when you run the football effectively. And from an Arizona standpoint, the 9 defensive linemen that they kept on the roster, they've got 8 in this game, have a total of 6 sacks. 6. So they don't know how to get to the quarterback yet.
Gary. But you got to hand it to the Cardinals. That defense has been put in so many holes in this ball game. They have held up very well, even though right now the scoreboard doesn't show.
It's almost like a broken record. The games that we have done,
that's right,
have been very indicative of the defense trying to hold on as long as they can. I believe this offense will be better. The special teams have put them in holes.
Fumbles, interceptions. I mean, how many times we go in every week that we go in and we talk to both coaches, and the first thing we say, well, you know, what do you need to do to win this football game, other than scoring, is don't turn the ball over.
Gary comes back in motion, and he'll get the carry. Nice hold that time off the left side. Orlandis Gary breaks it across midfield. Tillman takes it out of bounds.
This is power. This is leg power.
And he's coming off a torn ACL reconstructive surgery.
And he's getting better with every run and with every yard. Orlandis Gary, watch his power. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but he ran right through Rob Fredrickson, number 59, at about 3-yard gains. And the one thing that Dave McGinnis stressed again, besides not turning the ball over, is we have to tackle. We must tackle these backs.
Well, you get the feeling that Cardinal defense is starting to get a little tired, and then they turn it over to guys like Anderson and Gary and run it right down your throat. And this is going to end the 3rd quarter. Denver with quite a comeback. They were down 10-0. They have scored the last 31 points of this ball game behind the arm of Brian Greasy. We'll be back to the desert in Tempe after this. Football still to come your way from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona.
All right, Joe. Here you go. 20 straight is a Bronco record for straight completions in a game. Who was it?
Oh, okay. Bubby Brister. Huh? Am I close? Nope. Craig Morton.
Nope.
Greasy short set to Smith. Flanker screen. Just keep calling that number, and 80 comes up big. Kyle Vanden Bosch peeled back to get it.
All right, you ready? I'll give it to you. 20 straight.
20 straight.
1994.
Oh, can I guess?
Yeah.
Hugh Millen.
Oh, Michael, you're so good.
No, he saw the paper.
No,
yes,
he didn't.
Yes, I did.
Hey, I've been with him a little longer than you have. I know.
Greasy now has what?
13.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I was not going to get Hugh Millen.
No, neither was Joe.
Wouldn't have worked.
It wasn't fair.
Right there. It was right on the tip of my tongue.
1st and 10. Greasy 14 in a row. Smith again. 1st down inside the 20. There's a marker down. This is just pitch and catch right here.
This one becomes pitch, catch, and grab. They're going to go personal foul against the Arizona Cardinals.
Roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 97. A blow to the head with the forearm. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Fred Wakefield, the rookie from Illinois, a free agent. You touch the quarterback in the head, it's a penalty, period. Whoa. I don't even know if he got him in the head.
Got him in the shoulder pad, or he might have hit the face mask. Look at
And we have
a delay.
An idiot streaker.
Well, this guy really isn't a streaker.
No, he is clothed, isn't he?
Yeah.
Somebody ought to give this clown a forearm.
Remember now, Brian Griese was 5 for 13. Okay, he's hit his last 14 straight, 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has operated this offense very efficiently. Corey Chavis did have a shot at 1 interception early. Kwame Lassiter had a shot at another one on a long play.
5 out of 13 was like a challenge.
Just a question until they figured out what Arizona was doing defensively.
Mike Shanahan was just a great offense that he has entrenched here. And since he became the Broncos head coach, guess who leads the NFL since then in points, rushing yards, and total yards?
I know that.
Denver. First and goal. Olandis Gary is the running back. Tries to go outside. Now cuts it back. Good hard run. Gary. Touchdown.
You know what? I'll tell you what, I really and truly agree with Joe. I don't know whether this is exhaustion, but I do know one thing that Pat Tillman told us on Friday. I need to hit somebody. I have not hit anybody in a long time. And I don't even know if I can, if we're ready to hit somebody.
They're getting chances.
Oh, they're getting a lot of chances. When you look at this play, I mean, guys are hitting him, and Tillman happens to be the last guy that has a shot at him, number 40, and they don't make the tackle.
Well, when you see guys start throwing shoulders instead of wrapping people up, they're going for that knockout blow. Their technique has got to be better, and Denver is just lumping the Cardinals. Great run by Olandis Gary. Sun Devil Stadium on what has become just a gorgeous night here in the desert.
Night's always gorgeous in the desert.
That's because it goes down to 95. Dave McGinnis, what a disappointment for him after such a tremendous start for his ball club. They played so hard, went up 10-0, and they have been waxed since then. Jenkins from the goal line. Has a seam. Marte Jenkins. Just tripped from behind. Ian Gold again. Oh, check it. That's Smith. Detron Smith got him by the ankle, a return of 40. Let's take a look at our game track to catch you up to date on what's been happening in this ball game. Griese, spectacular in the second half, 19 out of 27. Rod Smith with a huge night, 12 for 146. And Jake Plummer, who started so strong, has seen his numbers decline. He's only thrown for 180 yards tonight.
You know, we've been talking so much about the Denver offense. This Denver defense, they have done a terrific job.
Ray Rhodes is a terrific football coach.
He is.
Has done a great job no matter where he was, whether it was Green Bay or Washington last year.
Plummer to throw. Delta O'Neal came up and knocked it away from Boston.
There's one that should have been intercepted.
Delta O'Neal's a good one. They found themselves an excellent corner there. Only in his second year out of Cal.
You know, this is a game, too, for Jake. I mean, you got to stay with the offense, Joe, and start working on some of your offense. You're down by 28 points. You're not going to win this ball game.
You're right, Paul, and I think it's very important. This is their first game. Now they get a chance to look at some of their offense. How do they operate their offense? Forget about the score. Just be efficient in your own personal job.
Because they've got 15 games to go. Makovica got his head around late and couldn't hold the ball. Let's go to Chris Berman. Boomer.
All right, Michael, thank you. How about those Cincinnati Bengals at home against the Baltimore Ravens? Cincy's defense to KO Spikes picking off Elvis Gerback. They forced 6 turnovers, 3 picks, 3 fumbles, 21-10 Cincinnati. First loss for the Ravens since October 29th last year.
Well, that was a stunner there.
And I think that's the first time I've heard Chris not call the Cincinnati Bengals the Cincinnati Bungles in a long time.
I agree with you.
And they've earned that respect.
Plummer sits in the pocket and throws behind Marte Jenkins. And now a crowd of more than 50,000 getting a little uncomfortable with what they're watching.
Oh, they're comfortable now. They're leaving. They're up and exercising their legs.
You go find someplace that has air conditioning. Cardinals 3 and out again, and player will have to kick to O'Neal. Did Scott take your helmet, Joe, and repaint it with that single face bar?
They would. Only kickers can wear that now. They wouldn't. I don't know why they won't let quarterbacks wear them. I'm sure there's some guys in the league today that would love to wear a single bar.
Name one.
Yeah, in Canada.
And this is the way you cover kicks, down to the 2-yard line. A punt of 59 yards. David Barrett down to tap it dead at the 2. 12:59 to go in the ballgame. Chris will be along with the week that was, our NFL Blitz. And the Sunday conversation with Bobby Valentine, who really has the Mets making a late season run. There's a flag down on this play as Mike Anderson checked into the ballgame to carry it at tailback. You know, Dave McGinnis, as we said earlier, has to be terribly disappointed by the way this game has gone. But here's a guy who believes in players who give everything they have. They may not be the most talented people right now. It's a very young team, but he wants them out there giving 100% all the time, and he's getting it from them. 2nd and 5 for Denver. Greasy out in the flat. Smith taken out of bounds. When they beat the Bears in a preseason game, they had to come from behind to do it. And here's what Dave McGinnis had to say to his club in the locker room.
We will never, ever, ever quit. That was 4th and 20. It might as well have been 4th and 1, man, in our minds. You never quit. You never quit. You never quit. And that's why I love being the head coach of this football team. Great job, man. Great job.
He can take every part of that except the great job, and I think apply it to his football team. His football team will not quit. This is their first game. We saw a lot of teams struggle early in their first games a few weeks ago, and now this is a game from which they have to build. If they eliminate the mistakes, they can play toe-to-toe with anybody, I believe, but they can't keep giving opportunities to people.
The one thing he said to us about his football team is he's going to have people that won't quit, like this guy, Tillman, that you just saw, number 40. He just said that I'm responsible for the players I put in front of the other players. If I have a bad guy on this team, I've got to get rid of him because I can't ask the rest of the players on this team to accept him. And that means I accept him, and I won't do that.
I think that's a great way to approach this. Greasy. Smith, again, his 14th catch of the night, and that is a team record for the Denver Broncos. Smith and Greasy have just been sensational in the second half.
Number 16
for Greasy. 14 for Smith, 16 in a row for Greasy.
It's the same pass they've thrown probably 6 times. It's a little quick turn by Rod Smith. Just give him a chance to face up on the backers and then take off and run.
Well, there's a guy with such great speed. You have to respect that. You lay off. They throw little passes underneath.
They just wanted to get him the record. Now they take him out of the game.
Already missing Eddie McCaffrey, who was hurt in the opener. Anderson back in. He'll get a couple.
Tonight is a classic example of a football team that can run the football. They tell you they can run the football. You know they can run the football. Everything they do is predicated on the run. So everything else passing is really easy.
Well, passing, when you got Rod Smith, it even makes it easier. 14 receptions, 162 yards. And there was a lot of talk. And Mike kidded us yesterday when we were talking to him. He was talking about moving Rod Smith to a different position to make up Fred McCaffrey. He says, we lied. We just wanted people to read that. You know, Rod is right in the same position he's always played.
Greasy this time to Carswell up to the 35.
Brian Greasy is still in this football game because this isn't college football where you take your guy out and get your underclassmen a chance to play. He's the starting quarterback of this football team, and probably when we get down to the 5-minute mark, he might make a change and go to Gus Frerotte. That would be my guess.
One of the things that's interesting about this ball club is they've got Greasy as the starter, Gus Frerotte, Jarius Jackson, and Steve Berline, who's been hurt. They've still got him on the roster in the hopes that he will get healthy enough to come back.
Well, there was a great debate of whether Steve Berline or Gus Frerotte would be the backup quarterback to this football team. They brought Berline in. He stayed on the active roster. I talked to Steve yesterday. He feels like it'll be week 8 before they even think about activating him. He thinks he'll be ready to go in 4 weeks. That brings up the situation. What happens to Gus Frerotte at that point? I think there are football teams out there that could use him, possibly the Detroit Lions. Matt, think about it.
Ooh. 7 picks today for Detroit.
Ouch. No, not for Detroit, for Ty.
No, that they threw. Anderson. Let's get down to Susie. These guys are a lot of fun to watch on offense, aren't they?
Well, in week 1, or after week 1, this team had the #1 offense, and Brian Griese was the top-rated quarterback. Doesn't look like that's going to change after week 2. I mean, just look at the average of points, total yards, and the biggest thing here, 0 turnovers in both games.
You know, when you look at this team, they've got that great set of running backs, Davis, Anderson, and Gary. Terrell, of course, hurt and be out for a while after knee surgery. But when you run off those quarterbacks, Griese, Frerotte, and Burline ahead of Jarius Jackson, that's a pretty good stable of quarterbacks.
Not only that, Griese's the only one who hasn't been in the playoffs. Yeah, even Jarius Jackson's played in the playoffs.
That's right. Griese, of course, had 2 shoulder injuries last year. And he finally throws an incompletion, that one intended for Carswell. He had hit 17 in a row.
You know something? Mike Shanahan is a very, very cagey guy. He knew that Rod Smith was close to the record. You saw when he broke it, he took him out. With the completions that Brian Griese was on,
good point.
He was trying, I think, to get him close. I wouldn't be surprised now if they decide to make the move, possibly in the next series.
To break the consecutive pass record of who? We'll point it out again.
Hugh Millen.
That's right.
Way to go,
the
Joe.
Denver Broncos.
Jump in there, man.
He just wanted to see if I was listening earlier.
Yes, I was.
No year?
1994.
There you go.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Olandis Gary, flag is down. Stop made by Justin Lucas, backup strong safety.
Well, you look at the Denver Broncos, and you look at the age of this football team, the offensive line. Teague, 4 years.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving, without resetting, penalties decline, 4th down.
Lenny Friedman, 3 years. Neyland, 8 years. Neal, 5. Lippis, 5. I mean, you look at that offensive line, they're young, and then you go to the secondary. They got a bunch of 4th and 2nd year guys. Deltha O'Neal, Kenoid Kennedy, Eric Brown, Denard Walker, nobody over 5 years. The Broncos are going to be around for a while.
Arnold Jackson waits at the 10. Ruin, who has had a very good night to punt. Beautiful kick, but it will bounce into the end zone. They'll take it back to the 20.
I want to see what he can do at sea level.
Isn't this close? 57-yard punt. That offensive line has been spectacular again. Log on to NFL.com for expert analysis and insight, as well as all the day's stats, the scores and stories. And for the deepest coverage anywhere, log on to ESPN.com, keyword NFL. You get all the scores, analysis, and breaking news from today's action. You can't go anywhere without seeing signs of American flags, and that's just great. Sanders makes the catch.
Michael, in Arizona, in their first 2 drives for scores. And that was their first 2 possessions, okay? Their last 9 possessions, they haven't gotten closer than Denver's 48-yard line.
Well, the turnovers have really played a huge part in that.
76 yards since the first 17 plays.
That's in 8 drives.
They haven't had the ball much. I mean, you know, they've had the ball 41 plays. That's it.
Jones. Nice cutback. Another nice cutback. And Jones up to the 49-yard line, where Deltha O'Neal chases him down. 21, he now has 65 yards on the night.
What you saw at the end of that run is something that Thomas Jones is going to have to work himself out of. He was heading towards the right sideline. Instead, he tried to stop and juke somebody, and he got caught from behind. He just has to make the one cut and go, even if you are 15 yards downfield.
Plummer goes to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Jake unloads and almost intercepted and then caught by Marte Jenkins. Delta O'Neal had it right through his arms.
Delta O'Neal looked like he was running for a touchdown.
He was.
And
forgot one thing.
Yeah, he forgot the ball. Delta, they were in perfect position. And look at this. Boom, the ball comes back out.
Marte says, thank you very much. I'm going this way.
I mean, that was really a neat play to watch.
Well, it looked like a handoff.
Was it like a defensive back?
Yeah.
Oh.
First down at the 21. Plummer rifles this one and almost picked again. This time in and out of the hands of Kenoy Kennedy, the safety.
See, I've always defended Jake Plummer. I feel like he's got a chance to be special. This is a year that he's going to have to show a lot more. And what he did right there is not an excuse for being behind in a football game. You're down 28 points. You're not going to win this thing. You can't make this throw. The safety is sitting right there. Kenoy Kennedy is right there. You've got to see him. I don't buy into this. I throw more interceptions because we're behind. You still have to know what you're doing with the football.
The numbers on Jake tonight. Hometown hero out of Arizona State. Pump fake now under pressure, and Trevor Price was right there for his second sack of the year.
You also have to know one other thing, when to get out of there.
Well, no, I mean,
it's collapsing on you, man. Right. You got to be able to feel that. You got to get out of there.
No, I don't. What you do is the offensive line tries very hard to defend it, but Leonard Davis gets beat on this one. Of course, we talked about Trevor Price going to the Pro Bowl. He's just so quick. Jake has nowhere to go with the football. He did protect it.
5:25 and counting in this game. Denver has scored 38 straight points. Plummer under pressure, throws over the middle, incomplete. Hardy got a hand on it but couldn't hold it. Now 4th and 13. Obviously they will go for it.
Mm-hmm. I'd look somehow, way, shape, or form to get the ball in the hands of David Boston again. He's been my guy. He's been the guy that's made the plays for me.
He's had a good night.
He had a good night early. An early good night.
Yeah, well, the guys in the white and red haven't had a good night lately. I'll give you that.
They have not. They look so good in the first 15 minutes of the ball game.
Then the turnover started. Blitz comes. They pick it up. Plummer throws complete. Boston had the first down, then gave it up, has it again. Boston, great faking out of bounds. There's somebody who hasn't given up. Eric Davis finally got him out of bounds.
How strong is he?
David Boston is built in the mold of Eric Moulds, and I think right now in this league, Eric Moulds, to me, could be in the top 2 or 3 receivers. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he never quits, and that's exactly what you're seeing out of David Boston. He continues to grow, and I think we'll get better and better as the year goes on.
Check that tackle. Eric Davis was not the guy who took him out of bounds. He was the one who missed the tackle. Had a hold of him and couldn't hold him.
He had him for a while.
Yes, he did.
But the only reason they stop your momentum on a play like that when you got a guy as big as he is, the way he's running.
Plummer, touchdown. Hardy, the tight end, takes Plummer's pass, and the Cardinals have scored for the first time since they led 10-0.
Now I like that. Other than the throw he made that almost got picked off by Kennedy, Jake did a nice job on that series. They go to a little bunch package to the right, bunch meaning 3 receivers in real close. The tight end winds up getting in the end zone, touchdown.
On for the point after to make it 38-17. Gramatica. You know, Gramatica in college had a 63-yard field goal without a tee. That is the second longest in NCAA history. Here's a good question. Who had the longest?
Well, who did he kick it against?
I don't know that one.
Austin P. State. And I don't know who had the longest.
His brother Martin, 65.
They say his younger brother is at Santiago.
Is a better kicker than all of them. We're in the desert where the Cardinals are going down to their first defeat of the season. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, Brett Favre and the Packers will battle the Washington Redskins at 9 Eastern on ABC. And the next Sunday we'll be in Philadelphia. Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys against Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles. Wind is really kicked up here. They set up to go for the onside kick. Got the big bounce. But Denver has recovered at the 40.
You know, this is one with a bounce that you really should have gotten.
Well, not when Dwayne Carswell goes up and snatches it out of the air. I don't know how you're going to get it. What a nice job he did, just taking it like you would as a receiver.
They do everything a little bit different. They get everybody. Look, they're all behind the kicker. Then they fake it. Now, there's Pat Tillman, who also played soccer for 10 years. That ball bounces up in the air, and look, they never got there in time. That was just, you were right. Carswell made a super play.
You don't expect guys to field it that clean, even though you have your hands team.
Especially when you got 8 white shirts running directly at you.
Anderson is the back. They start in Arizona territory. And the ex-Marine gets the carry for about 3. Of course, the Redskins in Green Bay playing tomorrow night. Back in 1983 on Monday night, it was the highest scoring game ever on Monday night. It was just a remarkable ball game. 48-47 Green Bay.
Was too. Shut up.
Joe Theismann went 27 for 39, 398 yards, 2 touchdowns. But it was his hold at the end that allowed Mark Mosley to kick one wide. What did Mark say to you?
What did he say to you?
I looked at him after he missed the kick. I said, "You've got to be kidding me." He said, "Well, you missed the spot." I said, "I missed the spot on the other 47. But, yeah, Mark was a great kicker, and he certainly won a lot of football games for us. I'd love to win that game.
Well, I'll tell you this.
48.
You were the best holder I ever saw. And I'm surprised that there are more quarterbacks because of their good hands, why they use punters instead of quarterbacks. I never saw you muff up a snap.
A lot of guys don't like to hold. I know when I left, Jay Schrader, who took over for me, absolutely hated it.
And Jay wasn't very good at it.
No, well, if you don't like it, you're not going to be good at anything. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a challenge. It was a way for me to get into the league when I first started, and it was a great opportunity to contribute in some way. I love it as a challenge.
Did you hold as a punter?
Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I mean, only people that are a little crazy want to hold. They can kick their hand apart. These guys are quarterbacks.
Well, you don't want to be out there kneeling on one knee and letting 300-pound guys run at you.
I was on the sideline sitting on my helmet.
Cheering for the holder.
Yes, I was. Make sure you don't mess this up. I think it's great that holders know how to hold.
Sports Center coming up after our broadcast. We have 3:14 to go on the clock.
At this point, I would like to add, I guess you'd call it my 2 cents for how proud I am to be an American and how proud and honored I am to have lived in New Jersey, so close to New York City, and living in the Washington, D.C. area, and seeing our police forces and our fire departments and everybody contribute so much to our nation's tragedy that has taken place, which has brought this nation, and Mike, you put it so well, loyalty and glory and pride in our country was so passé before.
It was frowned on.
It's certainly not now, and I'm darn proud to be one.
And boy, it won't happen again. And we have referred to athletes as heroes, and in certain ways that's true. In games, there are heroes. But we found out who the real heroes are, didn't we?
Yeah, it's the people that work for the people in this country. And when you look at what has happened to this country and everyone all over the world that is an American citizen. And also, it's just so sad that it happens on a tragedy. Yeah. And it's something that should have happened in this country since day one. Sure.
We also throw that term called leadership around. And what we've seen from Rudy Giuliani and Governor Pataki and the president of our country makes you even more proud.
Well said. Susie's down on the sideline. Susie?
Well, Mike, Cardinals owner Bill Bidwell got a little too close to the tragedies himself. He was in Manhattan for the NFL Retirement Committee meetings on Tuesday, September 11th. He was scheduled to fly back to Phoenix on Friday after the airports had reopened, but 5 men were taken off his flight and detained. The flight was canceled. being Bill Bidwell, he bought a car to drive home.
Got, I believe, to Oklahoma City, and then a couple members of his family came to pick him up, and they took a small plane back home.
And I know Mr. Bidwell made a profit on it.
Well,
car.
you would hope so. He only drove it once.
I talked to him.
Well, Dave McGinnis has got some looking at to do. He finally has some film to look at of live battle. One of the things that he was curious about was, first of all, how would his team handle failure or defeat in this case? He has a chance to talk to his football team about getting ready for next week and the 15 subsequent weeks after that. For the Denver Broncos, they continue to go on. And I was so impressed sitting talking to Rod Smith yesterday when he said, we are only as good as the backup players on our football team. And also, he talked about his contribution going out there and saying, I can't let my teammates down. I perform to make sure that they do well. And there's a guy who takes a tremendous amount of pride in one element of the game, and that's blocking for the running backs.
Well, that's why they have had such a good running game. It's because those guys, McCaffrey and Smith, will go down and lay wood on people, and they'll really stick their head in there. And that's one thing that they told Eddie Kennison the moment he signed. That, you know, you not only catch passes, you go downfield and whack somebody. And Kennison has certainly bought into that. Orlandis Gary, and he is swallowed up by Baron Tanner. Rod Smith, first 2 ball games this year, 23 catches, 277 yards. Only Andre Rison had as many receptions and yards in his first 2 games. Boy.
That is a season for some wide receivers.
It sure is.
But, you know, when we talked to Arizona on Friday about what they were going to do defensively against this guy with McCaffrey out, they said, well, most of the time we're going to try to double him somewhere along the line.
Now,
they didn't do that.
Well, they couldn't, because look at the formation that the Denver Broncos have used.
Mike Anderson inside the 15.
The Denver Broncos spread out their tight ends and wide receivers, and they give the ball to the running back in motion. They don't allow you to double cover.
That's why Mike Shanahan is so good. You want to do something, he won't set it up so you can. We've reached the 2-minute warning in the desert. Back after this. Tanner Rich, we will look forward to it. Brian Greasy's numbers 22 or 31, 242 yards. But 17 of his last 18, and Gus Frerotte has checked in at quarterback.
Sneak on 4th down. His first call is a sneak.
Quarterbacks.
It's nice. Gus Frerotte hasn't been in all night. Guys, you know, you can't get cold, but you can't even. Yeah, has no contact. So they put him in. It's a 4th and inches, and they have him carry the ball.
They call it in from the sideline. Are you sure about that?
Well, if they measure this and it is a first down, what he's going to do is he's going to kneel down 3 more times.
Well, how about this? Rushing yardage for the quarterback. Frerotte 1 yard. Greasy 0.
That's going to change.
Extremely efficient in the second half. Missed 1 of his last 18 passes. Now Frerotte will take a knee. Let's go down to Susie.
Well, Brian's having a great night, but not quite as good as the night his dad had against the Cardinals, November 24th, 1977. 6 TD passes. Now, of course, we know that Bob Greasy was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1990 with 192. So Brian still has a long way to go, but they both made the Cardinals look pretty bad.
Well, they had some good company in that regard, Susie. People, at least since they moved to the desert, there have been a lot of people who made them look bad. But that is quite a dynasty going there. And Mike Shanahan took a lot of heat when he made Brian Greasy his starting quarterback. Looks like Shanahan a little smarter than his critics again, huh?
Well, I asked him, I said, when you did it, you really took a lot of heat. You know, was he crazy starting Brian Greasy and what's going on? And I said, are any of these people come back and say, okay, you know, we're sorry we made a mistake? He said, a couple, but not all.
I just like the way that Brian throws the football from a percentage standpoint. He's very accurate, and I think you have to be In today's game, with the rules set up the way they are, if you're an accurate passer, you should be at 60, 65%.
Now, he doesn't have, you know, a John Elway kind of arm. There are very few around that do, but his arm is certainly good enough. Very impressive performance by Denver, weathering all the emotion and coming back, don't you think?
Oh, I think so. You know, they're always questioning whether being off that long and you know, the emotions, everything, how good are they going to be? They're good.
Final score, big win for the Broncos, 38-17. SportsCenter is next. For our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick saying goodnight from Sun Devil Stadium in Phoenix. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
ESPN, thank you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.